Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. Captain Shandy here. I hope everybody is doing well and staying safe. As always, we are on F1 2020 today on PS4 still, unfortunately. Maybe look at getting a PS5 if, everybody that watches my videos donates £100 each, then I'm most of the way there. But until then, I'm stuck with a PS4, or at least until the January sales, as I have Christmas presents to buy for kids and stuff, and we have to prioritise, I'm afraid. But in the meantime, let's enjoy what time we have left with a PS4. And as you can see, we have 5 red lights. We qualified in 6th position on the grid with a fairly decent lap. We're off the line. As you can see, we've got Smiggy to our left-hand side and Respect in front of us, as well as McChicken. Cracking handle, by the way, pal. And you can see it's all getting very closely knit here in the top 6. And we're scrapping for space. However, we are side by side with Smiggy as we come into the right-hander. Will we make a dive bomb? No, we won't. We'll slow down, but then the gap opens up, so we put it in there. Try and leave the room for Smiggy, which we do, and he manages to hold on to the position, but for a moment it looked like we may lose our spot to Jeff. We haven't done that. Smiggy goes very wide, but gets back on the power, and Jeff just comes flying in there. Absolutely dive bombs it. Very late turning into the corner. I just had to keep going straight so as to not to turn into the chap. And we find ourselves in 7th place out of 12. So not the ideal start. We have lost a single position, but I'm a silver lining kind of guy, and we haven't got any damage. So, get on your hands and knees and pray to the baby Jeebus for that. And thank him for his sacrifices that have enabled us to get through the first lap undamaged. As we can see in front, Smiggy and Jeff are now going side by side. Jeff goes up the inside. He looks like he's made it stick. Can Smiggy get back on the cutback? No, he can't. Jeff has left him there and just got the move done. But you can see we are closing in on Smiggy. And can we make a move on him? He goes to the inside to defend. We're a little bit boxed in. There's not an awful lot of space for us to work with, so we're just tucking in behind now, seeing if we can get a decent run out of these corners, get the traction down, and potentially make a move. But no such joy so far through the first part of the sector. And we have to sit behind Smiggy still, who's dancing about a little bit with lag. And as you know, ladies and gentlemen, we trust lag about as much as you trust me to BLM feminist to count your votes appropriately. So it could go either way here, and basically we want to just watch those two scrap for the time being. If they can come to blows with each other, then we can begin to get involved. As you can see, we are using a bit of the overtake, and they've gone side by side again here. Can he make the move up the inside? Smiggy pushes Jeff wide. Jeff comes back on the track. We have to slow right down to not go into the back with him. We have ended up side by side with him. He gives us a little love tap, and we don't make any ground up, but Smiggy and Jeff have swapped places, and Jeff is still struggling as he goes wide. Coming back onto the track, not got the traction, not got the pace. Can we get up the inside here? We take a look. We're past him as we're going to the corner. He brakes very, very late, and he goes very, very wide. And even if he manages to stay on the track, you'd think maybe we'll have him down this straight, but he has got some decent traction there. So without the DRS, we don't have too much of an advantage, but we are still closing in, and we get up the inside. We brake early, he brakes late, he almost goes into the back of Smiggy. No problems for him, no. We do manage to not touch, and it's been a pretty clean race so far, I have to say, not only for myself, but from what I've seen in front of me. There's been some good scraps, but nobody really getting caught up in too much trouble, nobody being over aggressive. So for this lobby, that's pretty good for us, really. As we continue in 7th place, and we take the piss really with a corner there, but we get away with it with just an exceeded track limit warning, which is quite nice, because we could have got a penalty. And as you can see, Jeff and Smiggy are just beginning to pull away. I'm just struggling to keep them within my grasp, but annoyingly, when the lap started, I was right on the gearbox of Jeffer, and now I'm falling out of this DRS zone by a good half a second. And if anything, we need to be looking behind us at Hyrax who has been closing in on us for the last lap or so, and is now under a second behind us. So he or she or they, it is 2020, could cause us some problems if we make too many more mistakes and let them get in. There's a mistake straight away as we completely miss the apex, and somehow we've actually managed to extend our lead, but that's because Hyrax got done by Fubi 1993, who is now even closer to us than Hyrax was. He's within half a second pretty much, and we could have some problems here, and it's gone fairly quickly. We are on lap 4 already, so this race has somewhat flown, and I thought Fubi was going to absolutely launch up the inside there, but I was already turned in and I was already committed. I couldn't really leave him the space. He was a long way behind to be making a dive bomb. Unfortunately, he thinks better of it and gets himself on the brakes. So he really needed me to make a mistake in that corner to make that move work, which I didn't do. I managed to keep the line and I hit the apex, so there was nowhere for him to go. As De Berg sets the fastest lap of the race, and Jeffo has gone back in front of Smiggy. They've had a really good scrap, those two. It might have been a little bit closer and watching a bit more of it and maybe being involved, but as it transpires, here we are. And just looking at the mini-map there, and it looks like Jeffo's got a little bit of a gap on Smiggy once again. We've managed to hold that half a second or so to Fubi, which I'm fairly pleased with for the time being. 7th doesn't seem like a great place to finish in a 12-car race, but it's been tough, and those guys at the front do seem quick. I'm not driving badly. I mean, I'm not driving well, let's be fair, because I'm not very good, but I'm not driving badly, and I'm still under halfway down the order, so, you know, obviously a decent level going on at the front of this lobby. I've not had any accidents, as Jeff lets us know that we are losing a little bit of time to Fubi, which we are, and we have been most of the time. And he hits us in the backside there. We did brake early, to be fair, but we weren't exactly brake checking him because he was still a good half second behind us. He had time to manoeuvre. I just didn't want to leave any space up the inside, so I got on the brakes a little bit early and sort of parked it a bit, and I don't know if he didn't anticipate it or what have you, but he just gave us a little nudge in the back, which you may have noticed. But we are on lap 5, in case you hadn't noticed, so we are nearing the end of this race, and now it's just a case really of just holding on to this position and desperately clinging on to 7th place. I can't see, there's 3 drivers behind me, so I can see down to sort of about 10th, 11th, but I can't see any further than that, so I don't know where everybody else is, as we get quite narrow on the inside of the long left-hander, but we won't get any sort of warnings or penalties, which is nice. And is there going to be anything going on here for us to get involved in? And you can see this car's going the wrong way across the track here, and we have to take avoiding action and go off the track, and then the game tells us that we need to give that place back. Despite the fact that he was going about 100 miles an hour and I was doing about 190, I went off the track to avoid him and not hit him, and I don't slow down in time, and that turns into a 5-second penalty, which puts me down into 10th place. Can you believe it, ladies, gentlemen, and theys? Because I can't. Just didn't slow down enough. I mean, I shouldn't have had the illegal overtake in the first place anyway. The guy was going about 100 miles an hour, if that. He'd just come back onto the track after having an incident, and I couldn't go to his right because I didn't have time and there was another car somewhere around there. So I quickly skimmed it round to the left just to take avoiding action. I thought it was quite good reactions, really. I was pretty proud of myself, and then I saw the marker come up and I thought, oh, you bastard. And then I thought the line was a little bit further away, so when I've tried to slow down, thinking maybe I can just let this guy ahead and just roll across the line in front of the next guy, or girl, or they, and no, I fucked it, basically. I completely fucked it, and I ended up with a 5-second penalty for nothing, essentially. Nothing. I mean, I've been thinking about the penalties on this game, and they aren't as harsh as they are on some other games, admittedly. But sometimes when something like that happens, you just think, oh, for fuck's sake, come on. Like, if a car's going that slowly, and I go off the track to overtake it, there's obviously a reason, you know? It's not like he was doing 180 and I'm doing 190 and I've found space off the track. He was in an incident, we were in an incident, coming back onto the track, doing hardly any speed. I've had to react last minute, I've gone off the track. in order to not crash, and we've been given a 5-second penalty, basically for other people's incompetence, which feels a bit like life, doesn't it, getting punished for other people's incompetence. But that's the end of the video, ladies and gentlemen. Just a short one for you today. I've got a lot to upload this week. I played a fair bit of PlayStation this weekend, so keep your eyes peeled, get notified. If you enjoyed the video, click like and subscribe. Come back for more. I'll be uploading more during the week. In the meantime though, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for visiting my channel. Hope you stay safe and stay well. You absolute legends. Take it easy.